Cal, obviously, you are on one of the most watched documentaries in the last decade, probably. Even people who never saw Tiger King, they've seen the memes. They're everywhere. I mean, it was kind of hard to avoid, that word, that name. But there's a lot of people out there who never saw it. And, there's just people who just never heard of it. So taking it from the perspective of someone that never saw that series, how would you describe Tiger King?
We had worked for 5 years with the producers to create something they said was going to be called Stolen Wildlife. And it was going to be showing how all of these abusive situations exist and what we need to do to fix it. And so we were working with them and several other different filmmakers on different projects like Hidden Tiger and Conservation Game and some others. And then when Tiger King came out, the trailers for it were like saying there was some kind of a feud between me and this Joe Exotic. I've never even spoken to Joe Exotic. And we asked our producers, who's making that film? What is that? And how is it they have film of us? And we could not believe that was the product of what we had been working for 5 years on. So for people who didn't see Tiger King, it was just a train wreck of backyard hillbilly crazies who make a living by pimping out tiger cubs. And the premise of the show was to make them the good guys and to make me, the person telling them you can't treat tigers like that, the villain, by bringing up a horrible tragedy that happened in my family back in 1997. My husband left the house one day and never came back. And so since then, when I speak out against people that are abusing big cats, there's no justification for what they're doing, and there's no way that they can defend themselves. And so the first thing that they'll do when the media reaches out to them is say, she killed her husband and fed him to tigers. And now the media is like, oh my gosh, that's such a juicy story. Let's talk about that. And they've forgotten all about the cats and the trials that they are going through. So it was such a shame that they gave a megaphone to these people who are just, if you look at it now, most of the people from Tiger King are either in jail, as Joe Exotic is, or they are facing criminal charges from the Department of Justice in Oklahoma and Virginia in wildlife trafficking and animal abuse charges. And one by one, they will be taken down, just like he was. But it didn't change the public perception of these being fun-loving, animal-loving. That one is the one that blows my mind, that these guys love the animals. And unfortunately, that was the perception that the global community got of these people.
Thank you for giving that explanation. So you were basically given a completely different context of what this whole documentary would be about. I'm assuming you signed the release, and at that point, there was nothing you could really do at that point, right?
Right. And we weren't paid to do this. We never charged film companies to do this sort of thing. I was told from second, so this is hearsay, but I was told that they had sold it for like, I forget, 14 or 16,000 million dollars. And so I can see how money might have gotten in the way of them being loyal to what they had said they were going to do. And, I think there was probably a time when they meant to be doing what they told us, because in 2018, they produced a pilot and a sizzle reel, and they said that this is what they were selling to CNN. It was what we had all agreed that we were working on. And it was nothing like Tiger King. It was like a factual documentary. And then CNN didn't buy it. And the next thing we heard, they had sold it to Netflix. And I think they figured out that nobody wants a real documentary about what's really happening. People want to be entertained. And I think that's when they just decided, hey, we'll just, turn the whole thing on its head and make her the villain. And that sold.
Next level.